Welcome, everyone, to our football officials educational video for high school football officials as we take a look at in the off season at some particular plays. This week, I have a single play that we're going to look at, and our items that we are going to focus on in this video are three particular items. We're going to look at whether this is illegal participation or illegal substitution. We're going to look at the mechanics of the officials and then the penalty enforcement. So let's get into the play here. We're going to take a look at the play and the penalty enforcement. So looks first of all, the play we have the defense substituting a player on. So they've got 12 on the field right here. We're going to see the 12th player trying to get off. We get a flag by our back judge and line judge. Definitely good flags. And we see the player come off and the play happen. And then we get into the penalty enforcement here where we have the umpire getting ready to walk off the penalty enforcement. Now he does start somewhere around the 19 to 18. Remember, we snap the ball at the 19. That's where we want to start from. We walk off the penalty here. I like the fact the umpire stays over the ball here and waits for everybody to get set up. But we're going to come back to this, both the play and then the penalty enforcement as we move along here, as we watch the end of this play, as the offense runs another play. And let's talk about a couple things. So let's first get into a mechanic thing here for the back judge. All right, let's take a look at the back judge here I've highlighted. Notice he's inside the 5-yard line. On this play, we might as well move to the goal line and already be in position on the goal line. It's an important line. Move there. You're only 4.5 yards away. So get in position there to begin with on the play. Just a better positioning, I think. Okay. Let's come back to the play itself that we're talking about. And we're going to highlight the player coming off the field here so you can see his actions. Snap right in front of the center almost. And his whole focus is on getting off the field. So now you have to decide. We're going to flag this for illegal participation. There's some schools of thought on that, philosophies. Or is this illegal substitution? Because you can clearly see he's coming off the field. Well, to kind of better understand it, we need to know the rules. So let's take a look at two rules. So first of all, we have Rule 374. Throwing it down to replace player or substitute who attempts unsuccessfully to leave the field and who does not participate in or affect the play constitutes an illegal substitution. So you have to ask yourself this question. Did he participate or did he affect the play? I think the more important part here is, did he affect the play? Okay. Now, let's get into the illegal participation part. So Rule 230 describes participation as an act or actions by a player or non-player that has an influence on the play. Rule 964C states it is illegal participation to have 12 or more players participating at the snap. So we get it back to, does this player, as we slow this play down here, we're going to take a look at it in slow motion. Does this player coming off the field, it doesn't look like he participates. Does he affect the play? And that's somewhat subjective or judgmental here, because we're going to see as this player comes off, the 12th player on defense, he's right in front of the snapper, center at the time that the ball is snapped. He's right here. The ball gets snapped. So definitely doesn't participate because he's running off the field. Does his actions right there affect any decisions by the offensive team? I think you could make an argument for that case, or you could make an argument for illegal participation or substitution on this play. Very interesting play to talk about and to think about when you're officiating this. Now, as we look at this, one other thing here, we see the line judge. His flag ended up in the sideline, and ideally we want to keep our flag on the field of play. But unless you're moving this flag for a specific penalty enforcement, let's go ahead and wait and get our flag. Let's first report the foul to the referee, and then we can get our flag. Just a little tip there to help things move along. Now, as we come back to this play, we're going to take a look at the penalty enforcement part of it too, because it's really important that we get our penalty enforcements correct. And on this play, as we look at it, as I already mentioned, the ball was snapped at the 19-yard line. And we can see our umpire there. He's kind of straddling between the 18 and 19. And when we walk this off and put the ball at the 11-yard line. That is not half the distance. Half the distance would be to the 9.5. It's not a 5-yard penalty. So we didn't call it illegal substitution because we would have went from the 19 to the 15. Now, I don't see the signal from the referee. We don't have that. But the ball should be at the 9.5-yard line. officials on the field of play need to work together and focus on this because we can lose credibility as a crew if we can't enforce the penalties appropriately. We want to get the penalty properly walked off because it can make a difference. And in this case, if we properly enforce it, it's just first and goal from the 9.5. But now we have first and 10 from the 11. So it does change potentially the play. So let's make sure we get the penalty enforcement correct. The other part here is for our umpire. And I like the fact he stays over the ball, but when he backs away from the ball, notice right here, he's turning at the snap. So how can we, or how can the umpire be in better position to officiate the next play without being moving and turning at the snap? So I think here, as we look at it again, our umpire needs to do is back out quickly and then kind of turn and continue to back out of the play, kind of backpedal, and that way you can observe the play and not get caught off guard with a snap. And that way you're seeing the entire play and not potentially missing anything. Just some tips here for the officials and mechanics wise. Now, back to the original part of this play. Do you have a legal substitution or do you have a legal participation if you're on the field in this play? This is definitely an interesting play to kind of break down and think about because right here clearly doesn't go back and participate. But now you got to make the decision is did that 12th defensive player have any impact or effect on the decision making of the offense? Now, we're obviously can't be in the minds of the offensive players, but we've got to make that judgment or that decision when we put this flag down or marker down. Love to share your comments in the comments section. Remember, if you have two flags on this play, we would want the line judge and back judge come together to talk about it and share their comments about what they have. Love to hear the comments to see what we have. Thanks everyone for taking the time to watch this video. And until next week's video, where I'm going to have some plays regarding hurdling, and we'll talk about hurdling. Everyone, please take care.